This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 44 of Horse Tip Daily. A different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. Today's topic is sponsored by Equestrian Collections, the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford. Enjoy today's tip. I am Glenn the Geek from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, on today's tip, we go back to one of the finest horse photographers in the world, my friend Scott Trees. Scott brings us another tip on horse photography. You know, all of us play around with photography at one time or another. We like it. We all think we're great at it, and really, we really have no idea what we're doing. And maybe I'm just speaking for myself there. And, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed talking to Scott when we have him on. He's one of the most knowledgeable photographers I've ever met, and he's just a plain nice guy. You know, he's actually done several tips for us. If you go to horsetipdaily.com and just look down the list, you'll find Scott Trees on a number of tips, and I encourage you to go back and listen to all the past ones. He does know what he's talking about, and I've been able to implement a couple of the things that he suggested. You know, Scott is known worldwide for his images of the horse. He has a unique perspective and a whole lot of talent. He's been practicing his craft for over 36 years and has more frequent flyer miles than anyone I know. He travels to Europe and the Far East and the Middle East a whole lot and works for a lot of very famous people. And we'll get to Scott's tip right after I mention Equestrian Collections. As I said, Equestrian Collections brings a whole universe of shopping to your fingertips right at equestriancollections.com. And they have all their fall merchandise coming in now, so hop on over there and check it out. If you're looking for a blanket this year, you need to check out Equestrian Collections first. Go there first. They have 19, I counted anyway, 19 different brands of blankets from all the top names like Weatherbita, Rambo, Rhino, Professional's Choice. It just goes on and on and on. If you need a sheet for the fall or a blanket for the winter, stop on over to equestriancollections.com first. Or if you're looking to outfit yourself for the fall and winter, they have what you'll need. You know, Equestrian Collections really started as a clothing store, and now they cover everything you'll need for you and your horse. So stop on over to equestriancollections.com, and you can use the coupon code STABLESCOOP, like our other show, Stable Scoop, and you get $10 off any order of $120 or more. So when you're doing checkout, just put in Stable Scoop in checkout, and you'll get $10 off any order of $120 or more, just for the listeners of the Horse Radio Network. Well, let's say hi to Scott. Well, hi, Scott. Welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. We appreciate you being on the show again. You know, we've gotten a good response off of your previous tips, so I think that you're going to become a fixture whether you want to or not here.
Well, I'm sort of a fixture anyway, so I'm here to stay. Like a stray dog, you can't chase me away with a stick.
You know, I did mention before you came on that we did a much bigger segment with you on the Stable Scoop show, and I gave everybody the information to go back and listen to that, because that whole show about photography we had you and a number of other guests, was a very good show, and it's a timeless show. You can go back and listen to a show like that. It doesn't matter when you're listening to it.
Right. Well, that's good to know. I mean, because there's a lot of talented people out there, and the nice thing that you've done is you're pulling a lot of good people out there that have experience and knowledge to share, and I'm sure your audience appreciates it.
Well, and you know who benefits the most by this is me. I learned so much cool stuff. So. Well, what do you have for us today, Scott?
Well, we're gonna switch gears here a little bit, because the other side of my business that people may or may not know about is I also do a lot of video production all over the world, and have for a long time.
You know, I didn't know that. I thought you were just still.
Yeah, nope. I'm one of those few that can switch hats quickly and shoot video or stills, and it's always kind of a conundrum for me, because sometimes I'll be shooting stills and be going, oh my God, what a great video sequence that would be, or vice versa. And so it's been, you know, I've done, at one time I had an exceptionally large production facility on the East Coast, and then after I had cancer, I sort of scaled things back in my life many moons ago, and still shoot a lot of production, and I'm getting some more things going on, but have a lot of experience in video, so I want to talk a little bit about that today.
Great.
And one of the things that we have to take a look at, especially in today's digital world, is why we use video in the first place. And probably the most common use in the horse industry is to sell. We're either going to try to sell a show horse, we're trying to sell stallion services, we're trying to sell a product of some sort. And video and via television is the number one most effective sales medium in the world. It's probably also one of the least forgiving and of bad production. And
YouTube will attest to that.
YouTube will attest to that, absolutely. But that has happened, and what YouTube has happened is, everybody now is a producer. Everybody now can shoot video. And again, we're talking about horses, and horses are not easy subjects to shoot. And if you don't shoot them properly, it will hurt you. And so I think people need to, first of all, be aware of their market, who's going to be looking at this, and who's going to, and how do they want to utilize it as a medium. And the most common usage right now, for sure, as you mentioned with YouTube, is via the internet. And so the key thing I think I would share with people, I mean, of course, video is a whole seminar unto its own, but the key thing that I would share with people is don't make it too long. Most people in today's TV world, whether they realize it or not, are pretty sophisticated television watchers. I mean, but they get their TV in sound bites of 2 minutes, 4 minutes, or 6 minutes, and 2 minutes of one horse is a long time to watch him. And I think the biggest problem that I see with people trying to sell a horse, especially a single horse, unless they've gone to the total production expense of a narrator and shooting in a lot of different locations and these kinds of things, is they're just plain too long. And even horse fanatics that love to watch horse videos, I would rather them watch something and say, I want to see it again, rather than watch it and say, I've seen it, never looked at it again.
So don't show the whole 10-minute video or
dressage
test?
Yeah, don't show the whole thing. I mean, you want, especially if you're trying to sell a horse, I mean, let's be honest, the purpose of the sales video is for them to pick up the phone and call you so you can close the sale.
Right, you're there to show the good points in as quick a period of time as possible. Right,
and the other thing to remember about video, quite frankly, is it's a lot less forgiving than stills. As a still photographer, if a horse has a bad jaw or a short neck or maybe a bad croup, I'm going to wait for that angle or find an angle or light it somehow that I can hide those faults.
Right.
It's a lot harder to do in video.
Yeah, because it's just there.
It's there. And, certainly you can, today's technology, you could do it if you've got, the hundreds of thousands it would take to do it frame by frame.
Right.
But, so video is much less forgiving. So, you need to be aware that...
Scott, not to interrupt you there, but which is probably better for the buyer that it's less forgiving.
Absolutely. I mean, I would truthfully, in today's world, I would never buy a horse off of a photograph. I would insist upon seeing a video.
There should be the tip for the day.
Yeah, probably. But, unfortunately, and I am absolutely, completely against it, but there's a lot of retouching going on horses' conformation in these magazines today, and I think it's terrible. I absolutely refuse to allow the magazines to correct any of my shots that way. But it's so easy to do. And so, definitely video will give you a more accurate representation of the horse than a still shot.
So, Scott, the main tip here today is to keep it as short. And you're thinking the attention span of a human being is really between 2 and 3 minutes? Yeah,
2 minutes. 2 minutes for one horse. When you really think about it, 2 minutes for one horse is plenty long enough. Especially for a sale video.
It's funny. That is true. When we do audio, obviously, and our shows tend to go, except for this one, which is pretty short, our shows tend to go an hour. But people are doing other things while they're listening to our show. They're cleaning stalls. They're doing mundane tasks where they want entertained.
Right.
When you're watching a video, you're not doing anything else. It's your sole thing, so you tend to not do it for as long.
Right. And probably along those lines, if you take a look and if you're showing a video to somebody and they start talking to their friend or start doing something else, it's too long.
Okay, there you go. All right, so keep the videos short, keep them to 2 to 3 minutes, and don't show the whole 10-minute dressage test.
That's right,
exactly. Nobody cares.
Right.
Thanks, Scott.
You bet.
And Scott, before we go, where can people see your work? Do you have any video work on?
Yeah, we do have video work online,
okay.
And also we have an area where you can write in and ask for one of our demo DVDs. It shows a lot of things.
Oh wow, cool! I didn't know about that.
Yep.
All right, and that's at Scott, or that's
no, it's www.treesmedia.com.
Treesmedia.com, and you're also doing a blog now on there, so everybody
can
follow your travels.
I am indeed.
I love that idea. You know me, I'm a big blog person, so I think
Well,
it's just cool.
People have been after me to share these stories and the things I get to see for a long time, so I figured it was time I do it.
Well, when's the book of your autobiography coming out?
Oh, well, that's another story.
Okay, good. Thanks, Scott.
All right.
Well, we thank Scott for joining us today with another great photography tip. Scott will be back with us periodically with a new photography tip. And if you like Scott, we mentioned on there that he was on the Stable Scoop show at stablescoop.com, and you can look for him on episode 13. Well, you can drop me an email, as I say at the end of every show, at Glenn with 2 N's at horseradionetwork.com. I got a great email today, so let's share that. This email is from Nikki, and we thank Nikki. We know she's listening because she says so in here. She says, "Hi, hey, I just wanted to let you know I enjoy all of your shows. I first discovered the Eventing Radio Show earlier this year when my mare's due date conflicted with me being able to go to Rolex. I looked online for a way to follow what I was missing at Rolex and discovered your show. Since that time, I subscribed to your podcasts for the Eventing Radio Show, the Stable Scoop Show, the Dressage Show, the 2010 Show, and Horse Tip Daily. I love them all and love that I can download the podcasts and listen to them on the go or at the barn. Thanks for bringing such great shows to all of us." Well, it's our pleasure, Nikki. We appreciate you listening to all the shows, and thank you very much for that. And as I said, if you'd like to drop me an email, it's Glenn with 2 N's at horseradionetwork.com. Don't forget to check out all the shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. And I will be back tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.